Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Evan Teague, with like always is Noah Bailey. So today I want to start off with the news that happened this past week that Sony has officially struck a deal with Netflix to have their exclusive rights to movies streaming exclusively on Netflix for all Sony movies going forward, at least for the foreseeable future. Which, like, that in and of itself, not that interesting, except for the fact they specifically mentioned future Spider-Man movies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. What are your thoughts on that?
It's like you're trying so hard to like keep it apart. It's like it's yours, but not. Like it's in the same universe. They've got all their characters. He's in other Marvel Disney movies.
Yes.
Like,
Pretty
why
prominent
can't you
in
just
other
share? Like,
movies.
my thing's just share it.
Yeah. I
Like,
okay.
but like, there's
Yeah, like especially since in the most in Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange is apparently going to be a pivotal character in that movie. So Doctor Strange, you know, a Marvel character, like I mean, it's already pretty big thing of the fact that Iron Man was a pretty major character in the first one. So now Doctor Strange in this one are going to be exclusive to not Disney Plus. Like if you want to see the full story of this character, you have to go somewhere else. That's weird. I don't like it.
Yeah, and it's like I get it. Like Netflix is trying to do what they got to do to keep up because everyone takes their idea and they're gonna be the new blockbuster. But I mean, like Sony is just they're just being. It feels like they're just being petty, honestly.
Yeah, like I completely understand, putting Into the Spider-Verse 2 on there after the theatrical run, or even Venom or Morbius, whatever, on there. But
Yeah,
especially since we already did this a year and a half ago with MCU Spider-Man. Like I thought they were at least closer to a deal of, like, I thought if Sony did do something like this, they would at least be like, MCU Spider-Man movies have potential in the future to go to Disney Plus. Because right now there are only 3 MCU movies that are not on Disney Plus out of like 24 movies. Incredible Hulk and then the 2 Spider-Man. That's it. Not that anyone wants to watch Incredible Hulk, but like, I just like it's just very annoying, and it does kind of lead credence to the idea that if Venom 2 and Morbius are successful, which Venom has a way higher chance of being, so I don't think anyone's going to see Morbius. If those movies are successful, this makes the possibility of Spider-Man leaving the MCU again that much higher. So that's a little annoying.
but that again, and like especially with last time they made us this big deal. There's no way he's leaving. I'm like, I don't think they'd let it leave, but it's still like, are we still doing this? He's mine. No, he's mine. No, he's mine. Well, legally he's mine. Well, he's in all my movies. Well, he's in like, come on, like you can have your little like Spider-Man villain universe or whatever you're doing with that, but like it like at least let like the MCU movies be together. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It feels yeah, because it's like I don't even know where I can watch like Far From Home. My brother hasn't seen it, and I'm like, well,
I think
sorry.
I think it's on the Stars Network right now.
Probably, but
I remember seeing commercial for the Stars Network like a year ago or so, and saw like, I remember in like the montage of that seeing a picture of Spider-Man doing a superhero landing at some point. So I think it's there. And I guess the Stars Network, whoever owns that, who does like, does that even still exist? I don't know. Like, I guess I guess the Stars Network just wasn't.
I think it's
Nope. I think it was who? Do you know?
Let's see. Stars Network. Um,
It might be stars with a Z.
Lionsgate, apparently.
Lionsgate.
Yeah, I didn't see that
They're
coming.
still doing stuff? Okay.
Apparently. Yeah, apparently they're a major, they're low key major player in the subscription business, apparently. But
Okay. Lionsgate. I mean, yeah, they had the Hunger Games movies. I think they also did the Divergent ones, but like Lionsgate is not the fifth, even the fifth major studio you think of.
no.
Like MGM, I feel is a bigger name than them. But yeah, clearly Stars Network wasn't doing enough for them, so they were like, no, we're gonna go with Netflix, which I get as a business move. I just feel like the idea of these exclusive film rights already kind of annoy me when they're not your direct properties. Like Warner Brothers movies, like Batman, you know, DCU, even the the Godzilla movies. Yes, those go on HBO Max. That makes sense. Warner Brothers produced those movies. Star Wars, Marvel, Disney movies going to Disney, being exclusive to Disney, makes sense. They own those properties. But why does it make sense for Sony to explicitly say all of our future movies are going to this other platform? Like, how much money did Netflix give them to say we have exclusive rights to Sony movies?
Enough, apparently. But I mean, I don't know. My thing, and also if I'm Netflix, it's like, I mean, I get it because again, I'm trying to stay relevant. Everyone's watched it, and then it's like, okay, back to everything else. Netflix is kind of becoming like that third streaming service everyone cares about, but at the same time,
because HBO Max is honestly way more impressive than I thought it would be.
It's gotten way better.
It's still crap that they don't have a fast forward button. They have a rewind by 15 seconds button, but there's no fast forward button. Like, I know you haven't seen it, but but in Godzilla versus Kong, I wanted to rewatch it again because like I actually do really enjoy the last 20 minutes where they're actually monsters are fighting. But like a couple of times it's intercut with humans doing things that I've already seen, was already bored by. So I was like, if I could get a skip 15 seconds in the future here, that'd be fantastic. Nope, there was even the arrow keys. Don't worry, even Disney Plus figured out how to do the arrow keys. Like, come on. there's a rewind 15 seconds on the app on either smart TVs or consoles. You can fast forward and rewind, no problem. Yeah. But on desktop, nope, no way to fast forward. So outside of that, disappointing. But as far as like what's on HBO Max, they're doing the right thing right now, I think. So yeah, Netflix trying all they can to compete with that makes sense. I just don't know if it's necessarily in Sony's best interest to do this. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I think, yeah, as far as, I don't know, it depends on how Sony's movies do, I guess. Because, again, Venom 2 does end up being more of a success, and Morbius or, whatever movie. I mean, I'm sure they're whatever they want to make.
Craven the Hunter, Green Goblin, Sandman.
Yeah. So there.
I assume Disney owns Namor, right?
Yeah, they do. Because they were thinking about putting him in Black Panther 2 or something like that, allegedly or something.
I mean, that movie, it's obviously going to be great, but there's been so many rumors about different. Yeah. I don't know how.
Doctor Doom, is it going to be Namor? Is it going to be, which either way is a win, because I think
either Wakanda v Atlantis or Wakanda v Latveria. Either way, fantastic.
Pick your point.
Yeah.
Yeah, either way, we win. I'm fine with it. Oh my gosh, but yeah.
So I am terrified of walking out of Spider-Man No Way Home and liking the movie up to a certain point until the very end where he is thrust into the Sony verse and is stuck there. Like, could that happen?
Oh, you don't think they would let that happen, do you?
I don't know. How much say does Disney have in what actually happens in that movie? I don't know.
But it's a movie in their universe
Mhm.
with their character. I mean, I know Spider-Man, but it's like they pretty much half the other people in the movie are their character, you know, because I mean they had Nick Fury in them in that movie and all that stuff, and like,
Mhm. Yep. Like I said, Doctor Strange is
because
going
like,
to be in this
yeah,
one.
that'd
So.
be like, well, then again, yeah, but then if he has No Way Home,
Mhm. Uh,
uh,
it's gonna happen. I'm not gonna like it.
no, it better not happen. I would be, I would be very upset.
Mm, we just went through this. It's not.
It's like, why are we doing it? Like, clearly, we just want like, just keep them. And I know it's Spider-Man, it's the gigantic, property, but
Yeah, like even
it's
still,
like,
I think it. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I would be hard pressed. I would be pretty confident in saying that Spider-Man is at least in the running to say it's a Spider-Man as a property is a contender against the MCU. Like, is honestly maybe more popular, more profitable as a single property compared to all of Marvel.
if done correctly, yeah. I mean, Spider-Man's by far the like most like credited superhero in all of
Yeah.
Marvel for sure.
Actually, give me want to stall for just 1 second. Actually, for a different thing, actually do have a actually could very easily find a okay, here we are. So so the MCU has currently made about 35.3 billion at the box office. Like as a property, 35.3 billion. In its lifetime, Spider-Man has made about 27.9 billion.
Oh,
So that's pretty
that's
close.
yeah. I mean, that's true. And again, but nothing's ever reached before. But at the same time, that's with everything, all the characters, all the things put together.
Mhm.
All that Spider-Man by himself, I mean, him, Batman, Superman. I mean, honestly, it's between Spider-Man and Batman. Obviously, like I mean, Superman's
Yeah,
supposed to recognize it,
Spider-Man
but
has 0.2 billion on Batman.
really,
Yeah, as of end of 2019, which these numbers come from, Spider-Man has 27.9, Batman has 27.7.
oh man, that's actually impressive. I thought Batman would have the edge, but man, maybe Spider-Man because everyone thinks Spider.
I think
And
Spider-Man
interesting
has,
because Batman's a lot older than Spider-Man too.
yeah, but Spider-Man has more and more successful movies than Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the popular, or at least the highest grossing Batman movie, are the second and third Dark Knight movies, which both broke a billion. But Spider-Man 2 broke a billion. I don't think Spider-Man 3 quite did, but I know Far From Home did. Homecoming was pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also think they've had similar amounts of shows, but also merchandise. Actually, apparently Batman has had more merchandise over time, but still, like
Yeah.
regardless, it makes sense that they're that close, but I could easily see why Spider-Man is slightly more.
Yeah. Like as far as merchandise, you can make the argument like Batman has more toys because like gadgets and stuff, and there's obviously more characters than just
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
exactly.
So like you got Robin stuff, Batgirl stuff, like
Joker stuff.
right, and like Spider-Man, yeah, you got like the Green Goblin or like there's more to it than that. But
Yeah.
I mean, but as a kid, who didn't have those like Spider-Man gloves with the sound effects and
I had those
right,
Spider-Man
right? I know
gloves.
you did too. Like all
I
the
had a
kids
full-on
had that
costume. It
growing
was
up.
great.
Those were awesome, man. Like I remember those. Like
I didn't have a Batman costume, but I had Spider-Man stuff.
exactly. Oh man, good. Memory lane. Good time.
So yeah, I don't know how feasible it would be for Disney to buy the movie rights from Sony. I don't know if it would be easier to buy the movie rights or if it would, or if that point it would be worth it for them to just go ahead and try to buy the character. I don't know if that would be possible.
Let's go. They're probably not going to sell them though.
No, like that is Sony's thing. Like they don't have much. They obviously they do make a lot of movies. They are a major movie producer, but nothing they have is even close to Sony. Like, you know, Universal has like 6 different things that are billion-dollar sellers for them. Same with, actually not really Warner Brothers. I guess they have Lord of the Rings, you know, obviously the DCU. Like they have a lot of more iconic stuff. And then obviously Disney, they're Disney. So outside of Spider-Man, I can't think of many other Sony franchises that are surefire billion-dollar franchises.
Mm-hmm.
Like they tried making the Smurfs work twice. It didn't. They didn't market Into the Spider-Verse well enough for it to be a billion-dollar, even though it's one of the best movies ever made. They just didn't do it right.
Animated.
Yeah.
People hate, but
yeah
I mean, Jumanji for a little bit was doing pretty good.
Was that Sony? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Like,
okay. So the second one didn't really get that much attention though.
Game, but like I don't know. I think they need to, like, if they had of like, because it felt too much like the same. Like it was kind of the same, but like worse.
Yeah.
So it was like I feel like they could have expanded on it in a better way, but
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully this Netflix deal works out for them. Hopefully, like pie in the sky. Hopefully this doesn't affect future MCU stuff. Hopefully this doesn't directly impact what happens in No Way Home. Hopefully Spider-Man can show up in future MCU projects, because the new Avengers wouldn't be the same without Spider-Man. Like the whole point of Far From Home is that Iron Man felt fine doing it because Spider-Man's still around. Spider-Man's not around. White Endgame loses all his weight. Anyway, it's fine.
I wouldn't go that far, but but no, but your point is right. It's sacrifice. Yeah, it's a lot less. Yeah, it's a lot less. You know, like you gotta keep it together. I don't know, but I don't know. It's weird not having the one piece and a big piece of that not part of the set. So it's kind of like, why?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Sony's not willing to sell. There's not much you can do about it.
Like it definitely will be nice knowing exactly where to watch Into the Spider-Verse and its sequels and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because there definitely are some movies and franchises that, like, you know, not everything is on the same platform. Because I know the X-Men movies, they're just everywhere. Like the first, like the Deadpool movies are on Hulu. Dark Phoenix is on HBO for some reason. They have like 3 or 4 of them on Disney. I think 1 or 2 is on Amazon. They're just all over the place.
Everywhere. Which is so interesting because it's like one of the, granted they're not near, you know, I mean, not Deadpool saying Deadpool's that, but granted they're not nearly as good as the Marvel, but it's like still like, you know, organize your stuff. Like,
yeah. Like, I mean, I know Disney owns Fox now, so like they should have them all on Disney Plus, but like even if they weren't all on Disney Plus, at least have them all on Hulu or all on one place. Dark Phoenix being on HBO is so funny to me. Like, you know, my brother and I were watching X-Men Apocalypse, and then a couple days later, going on Dark Phoenix. Oh, it's not on Disney. Why is it on HBO? Why is Dark Phoenix? We have
like,
it. So
like, how are you here? I was more expecting Peacock than
Peacock. What's even on Peacock? Like,
what? Peacock has like shows. Like, I think they have like The Office and Parks and Rec and like a couple
Psych
others
and Scrubs and stuff like that.
Yeah, which I'm kind of like,
that's cool. Like 30 Rock and like Saturday Night Live, and like those
All
are
right,
some.
but like, which is kind of smart. Like you have like the one shows network.
But it would have been so easy for them, for Universal, to have a universal streaming service where, you know, Universal Studios, DreamWorks, all their stuff within those, Illumination, like these are some big name movie studios that they're just not capitalizing on as well as they could. Like they have the universal streaming service in Peacock, but it doesn't seem to be the universal streaming service. It just kind of seems to be kind of ensemble of random shows that you watch on Netflix, but now that they're not on Netflix, you're not gonna seek them out, I guess. I don't know. Like I love the Office, but I'm not, I only watched it over and over again because it was on the front page of Netflix. But now that it's not there, I don't like,
Right.
oh, I guess I have to get Peacock to watch The Office. It's not that serious to me.
Right. Yeah. And there are some like, and there are a lot of Office fans who like really like The Office, or like I knew someone who like really likes Parks and Rec. They just play it constantly. But it's
Yeah.
like that. I don't think that's going to be the most people. I think convenience is a very large factor, and I think Peacock's finding that, which is weird because I think there is a portion of it that is free.
Yes.
So it's kind
You
of
can
like,
watch, I think, the first 2 seasons of The Office for free on Peacock. Like literally on their website, when you look at the different packages, it literally has it sectioned off by how much Office you can watch. like first 2 seasons for the free version, up through like season 5 or 6 for the other version, and then all 9 seasons for the ad-free one. It's like,
no,
what?
that's terrible. Why would you do that?
Because that's actually, if you have never watched The Office before, you're like, oh, I heard The Office is really good. You know, Peacock is, if the free version of Peacock has the first 2 seasons, I'll see what all the fuss is about. They get to the end of season 2, they see that Jim leaves, and like, oh crap, like I want to see what happens next, and they pay for it.
That's
Yeah.
terrible. That's like those things where it's like you get like, it's like they start the movie and then you get to a certain point, it's like pay money to find out. You're just like, no,
I won't do it, but I have to. But yeah.
Oh my gosh. See, if I know that's happening, I'm not even gonna start it because I'm gonna know I'm gonna get
exactly.
sucked in.
But like, how much more enticing would it be to say, oh, you can watch The Office and Parks and Rec, but also here's the place to watch all the Despicable Me movies and all the Jurassic World movies and all the Fast and Furious movies. Like, those are some big name franchises.
Mm-hmm.
And they might be on there. I don't know, that they haven't advertised it well enough for me to know whether or not they are. I assume they're not, but maybe they could be. I don't know.
No. They really advertise The Office. Like everything I see on PR, it's like giant. We have The Office. Like
that's great.
That's great, but everyone's
we've been watching
The Office
like,
for the last 10 years on repeat on Netflix, so it's okay. we're good.
Yeah, like it. In one part of me is like, I do appreciate Sony not attempting to make their own streaming service, because we are, you know, at the brim. Like we can't have anymore. We already have Paramount Plus and Disney Plus and Hulu and HBO Max and Peacock. Like everybody has their own streaming service now. We don't need, I mean, Amazon Prime. So like we can't.
And don't forget
Showtime.
favorite.
Showtime.
Everyone loves Showtime. Don't forget.
I keep getting emails every now and again. What's new on Showtime? Nothing. Okay.
Nothing. To this day, I still don't know what it's like. Showtime, hundreds of things. Not a single one of them I was interested in.
Yeah, like apparently the Stars Network is owned by Lionsgate. Like, okay, there's also that. Like,
congratulations, I guess.
So yeah, thank you, Sony, for not making your own. It would actually be it might actually technically be in their best interest if they did it. So then they would be like, oh, on PlayStation, you have exclusive access to, you know, our streaming service. That's not going to be on Xbox or anything else like that. But thankfully, they're not doing that. So yeah, hopefully the Netflix deal works out for them. Hopefully it doesn't affect MCU Spider-Man too much, if at all. We'll see. That's going to start up early next year. So, yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
So let's see what Disney is up to now.
Oh.
Sticking with the MCU. Apparently, Disney has reconfirmed that they officially will not be doing any kind of CG Chadwick Boseman of any kind in Black Panther 2, which is correct.
Yeah, good move. Good move. Don't. Yeah, just let it. It's hard, but it's like it's the most honorable thing to do.
Yes, like every passing day, I grow to hate The Last Jedi more. On top of that, I grow to hate. Sorry, not The Last Jedi. I misspoke there. Every waking day, I hate The Rise of Skywalker more. On top of every single passing day, I grow to hate how they handled Leia in that movie. Oh my goodness. Like, I know they already had filmed stuff, or like they use footage that they didn't use from The Force Awakens, or repurposed footage for The Force Awakens. So it wouldn't be the same as just CGing over a body double for Chadwick Boseman. But it was still done so awkwardly. Like they felt we needed to do Leia. We need to. I feel it would have been better. It would have been better if they just recasted her, just not her at all, instead of what they did. But it's fine, whatever. On top of all the other complaints I have with the movie, that in particular, I was so mad at. Anyway.
Yeah, didn't really need her at all, but it's fine.
But it did, but it not in that way. Whatever.
Right, but not really. I mean, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. We don't have to. 3 hours later, and another thing.
So yeah, just as long as they somehow acknowledge in the movie, like tastefully acknowledge he died or isn't around, or just some tasteful way of doing it while still honoring Chadwick Boseman's legacy, that's correct. Don't try to body double CG over him.
No.
I personally think recasting him isn't a terrible, like it wouldn't be like the worst thing ever, but I think going without T'Challa at all, I think is overall the best play.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, maybe we'll have like a scene where it's like, he's not here anymore, and there's just like a statue or something, and like the music plays in the background or something, and it'll just like pause for a minute, and then the movie continue, or something like that. Just kind of like we acknowledge what's happening, but we're not going to do the whole like, all right, Michael B. Jordan just put this mask on, we'll never know the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't do that.
Exactly. More a bit of Marvel news. It's rumored that there's a Wolverine anthology series in the works for Disney Plus.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, interesting. I mean, like I've said before, I think Disney is in a fantastic spot to just kind of sprinkle in X-Men characters throughout. It is very possible there was one even revealed today. I haven't seen the most recent episode of Falcon Winter Soldier. Have you?
I have, yes.
Okay, don't say anything.
I won't say a word.
I just know they were hyping up this major reveal, this like really important cameo. I haven't even been on Twitter today because I know, like, I've been super enjoying the Falcon Winter Soldier so far, but like every major story beat has been spoiled for me so far. But like, it's still a fantastic show. This one in particular, I'm like, I cannot be spoiled by this. So there's a chance they even started doing that today, especially since I know that Madripoor has a major stake in the mutant story, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So So like, it makes perfect sense to kind of sprinkle them throughout and then make a full-on X-Men movie in the future, or a the Mutants movie or whatever they call it in the future. So starting with Wolverine having an anthology series makes perfect sense, especially since he's been around forever. So like, different time periods per episode. That sounds great.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. I like that idea.
Yep. I personally think if they were to do a Wolverine show, I think they wouldn't. I personally wouldn't do an X-Men Origins Wolverine where they're like, this is Wolverine's origin, but also Emma Frost and Cyclops, like all these other people are also Gambit are also in here. So like, I don't think they should do that. Save any other major X-Men characters for like the after credit scene of the finale, or like whatever the last episode is. Save all like future X-Men stuff for the last episode. Don't kind of sprinkle, like you can probably tease villains, like you can have the Blob or even Mystique, whatever in there, but don't have like Cyclops or Storm in that show. Have it just be focused on Wolverine. Maybe tease at hint at other things, but don't have any other major characters. Just
right, yeah. Let's go by, and then maybe later you talk to him again or something like that. Yeah. Like, yeah, don't have it just like be about all the X-Men when it's supposed to be about Wolverine.
Exactly. Like especially Cyclops, he either needs to be like front and center of the X-Men or whatever they call it movie, or have his own show, because he has never gotten enough love in any of these movies. He's just another, he's the leader of the X-Men. He just also here in the Wolverine show, like as far as the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Even in the newer trilogy, he was just kind of there in the when it was really the Phoenix joint, whatever. So moving on to Star Wars stuff. Apparently, not that it's a surprise, but it's cool to just have confirmation of this. Apparently, Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, will appear in the Book of Boba Fett.
Nice.
So, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Pick up where we left off. How big? Probably not a huge role, I'm guessing, just because, like, wouldn't be the book.
Yeah, like I personally think, because it is called the Book of Boba Fett, I think they will try to do like literal chapters in this person's adventures, like maybe even flashbacks to when he was growing up as a bounty hunter, what happened of the Sarlacc pit, what happened obviously just after he took control of Jabba's palace, and just kind of go from there. I don't think it'll be like a linear story. I think it'll just kind of be like episodic adventures with the character, which I think would be pretty cool.
And
then
like
just kind of shows up in one of them.
Yeah, and maybe like flashbacks, we could see some like other like bounty hunters we've seen in like Clone Wars and other things like that. Something like, I don't know, they're kind of cool.
Like, I know we had what is that one bounty hunter, the woman in all white with the ponytail?
Oh, Aura Singh.
Yeah, we had her. She's in one scene in the pod racing sequence, and no other movies. Having her like full on in live action could be pretty cool.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. I was like, yo, maybe she could like show up, be like, bro, yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, or Bosk. Everyone likes Bosk.
Bosk. Very likable. It's so weird.
Like, he hasn't done anything. He was in one scene in Empire, and then just kind of like Boba, honestly. Everyone just assumed he was. Also, IG-88, all those characters who were just in that one scene in Empire, everyone just assumed they were the coolest thing ever. And then like Legends just ran with that and just made them the best. Which, like, sure, but they didn't do anything.
It's like, yeah, but it's assumed if you're at this point, you're probably, scrubs don't get to this point. So
I mean, I also wouldn't be surprised.
Assumed you're pretty good at what you do.
I also would be surprised if the Empire just like threw out, a bounty on the smuggler's head, and then every single person who's probably in the pocket of Jabba anyway would be like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, everybody in the galaxy just like, jumped at the chance to help out with that. So like,
yeah,
no guarantee that they're even good at their job. They're just here for the money.
Yeah. So what makes you think you can bring him in? I like money.
Mm. So yeah, Book of Boba Fett coming out this December. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Over a little bit of Mandalorian news. Apparently, during the production of Mandalorian season 2, in all the scripts and in all of the like rehearsals and everything, all the actors apparently were told that at the end of season 2, the Jedi that was going to come for Grogu was going to be Plo Koon.
What?
They were told Plo Koon was going to be the, which like I love Plo Koon. I love his characterization in the Clone Wars. I think he's one of the few Jedi who dies in a way that's like kind of ambiguous anyway. So like him showing up, sure.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we live in the world where Darth Maul was like, "Oh, cut me in half, no big deal." So, like, I
Exactly.
get it, but
Like yeah, his fighter got shot down, but like he could have jumped out and landed in the water
yeah,
below, like or even
yeah,
survived the crash. Like it's he might have been fine. We don't know.
yeah. I think there's like a deleted scene, like deleted concept art for episode 3, where he like ejects out and they blow up his ejector seat too, which is like,
Yeah, that's too much.
bro. But still, like, yeah, I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like extra, but yeah, I mean, that would have been interesting. Obviously, I think it was much more fitting how it did happen. Just
Oh
because,
yeah, like this was solely just so that Luke's involvement wouldn't be leaked out anywhere.
right.
But you know, this stuff happens all the time with Disney productions. So, but still, saying it as Plo Koon, I think makes a lot of sense in canon anyway. Especially since he does have that strong connection with Ahsoka in Clone Wars. It just I felt it would have fit, but it wouldn't have had the impact of Luke Skywalker. So yeah.
Yeah. Plo Koon. What a guy.
Okay. Are you ready to have your mind blown?
Oh, absolutely.
Um, Disney maybe have produced a real lightsaber.
No. Uh-uh. Like how real? Wait. How real are we talking? Like
I have a direct
actually, like
I have a direct quote from a person who's like what like a higher up for the Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. There was apparently some backdoor presentation thing done in VR, but like just like some kind of presentation thing that someone did revolving around new stuff potentially coming to Galaxy's Edge. And after that, the main guy was interviewed, and this is at least the most interesting blurb from that. A lot of questions today about whether the lightsaber that Josh D'Aramo revealed today was real or CG, and whether I'd share photos or video. Yes, it was / is really real, and yet not.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I misread that. Yes, it was / is really real, and not yet, as opposed to like saying I'm not going to share videos yet. So it was real.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
I misread that. Sorry. It was
No, you're good. You're good.
the lightsaber that apparently at Galaxy's Edge somewhere they have some kind of something that at least heavily resembles a lightsaber that is real, but they're not going to show it yet.
So real. Like actually, okay. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Even if it first of all, if it is real, that's scary because we don't need that in real life.
No,
we have enough problems with the weapons we do have, so we don't need real lightsabers coming out. Second of all, that's awesome.
Yes. Like I don't think it's literally a beam of plasma coming out of a little stick. I don't think it's that, but something that at least somehow projects the idea of like, or even like, so they somehow made it so that a beam of light can come out that like stops at the point to make it look like a lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
It is cool. It's very, very
Yeah,
cool.
like no matter how you put it, like that's really awesome.
Yeah. Like I don't think it's obviously is not ready to be shown yet. I wouldn't expect them to show it for the next couple of years, but I just want to see what he means by it's not CG, it is an actual lightsaber. Like I just want to see it. I just want to see what a real lightsaber could potentially look like.
Real lightsaber. I mean, like I get the concept in my head. It's like that's awesome, but it's like, come on, really? But also, if anyone could.
It's Disney. Like I don't think it would also be, if you think about it, if making a real laser sword were possible, it wouldn't be in Disney's best interest to make one because they wouldn't be able to sell it
Right.
for commercial purposes.
Right. And like the government probably be like, you gotta give us that.
It would have to be a military item, which like, I mean, they would make so much money off that, but it wouldn't even really be that practical since nukes exist. So
crazy. Could you imagine that though? Like,
yes,
also on the military battlefield, we got people with lightsabers now. Close combat. It may not deflect bullets, but maybe it just disintegrates them on contact.
Maybe,
again,
yeah.
I don't think anyone would be able to like block any live rounds, but still.
Yeah, like obviously a normal person's reflexes aren't nearly high enough to literally make it as useful as in the movies, but it still would be cool just to hold a laser sword that you could potentially cut someone's arm off with. Like it just
or you know, yourself knowing my life, yeah, look, throw it up. Oh god.
Yeah. Like
turned into
I barely trust myself with the plastic ones I have. So like
yeah, very true. But still, I don't know. It's just so awesome. Just I don't know, because like a lightsaber is one of those things that like every kid has imagined having once in their life. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone is one like I want a lightsaber. It's like, and I know they even have, you can build your own now, but it's like I don't know.
It's not a lightsaber. It's a plastic toy. But like you can pretend it's a real lightsaber, but it's not.
But still, you can make your authentic lightsaber though.
Yeah,
and that's pretty. That's I don't know. I think that's a big deal. But
yeah, I want to see it. I want like I don't even know like what making it would necessarily accomplish outside of just being a display at Galaxy's Edge, but I don't that sounds cool enough to me.
Sure, I mean the kids would love it. Yeah, you just have it. Yeah, I mean you could like think about it. You have some like plastic or maybe even metal droids set up, and then you could just have like somebody with, you know, obviously, you know, a trained professional just kind of like go and I don't know, that'd be kind of cool. I would pay money to see that.
Yeah. I'd hope no one steals it and starts, you know, getting people.
Oh, not the younglings. Ooh, too dark.
Yep.
Okay. But, oh man, yeah, that would be something. But
yeah, so probably we're a few years away from actually seeing it, but the fact that Disney actually apparently committed to actually making a lightsaber, yeah, why not?
Yep.
I mean, we have Jeff Bezos making a Lex Luthor suit. Disney needs to make a lightsaber. You know, like why not?
Jeff Bezos could be a Lex Luthor though.
He literally, there are literal like videos of him like using these robot arms and like laughing like a little child. Like that's not okay.
No, it's really kind of scary. And he's like, yeah, he looks like he's about to take over the world. He's like, like he's about to I was like,
that's not okay.
Like, I don't know, one of the richest, most powerful men in the world inventing this technology. And I'm like,
Yep, like
Where have I seen this before?
Like we're only a couple months away from
Yeah,
Elon Musk making a working Iron Man suit.
that's what I'm
Guarantee it.
saying. Oh, and
Like
then we
Batman
got
should not have
UFO.
this.
I mean, we got UFO sightings apparently. So maybe his little ship from Krypton's coming down. It's
Yeah.
not looking good.
Uh,
Oh my gosh.
so,
Still super awesome. Still though.
oh yeah. In other nerd news, have you seen Knives Out?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
No, I heard it's very good. And there's a
it
very big
it
twist in it, but I don't
is
know.
very good.
I
It
need to
was,
see it.
as far as I know, it was the first movie after Last Jedi that Ryan Johnson made.
Okay.
Obviously, unlike what I accidentally said before, I love The Last Jedi. I will defend that movie to my grave. But Knives Out doesn't need defending because it's just good. It is just all around fantastic.
On
And
Amazon Prime. I'll watch that
yeah,
later.
yeah, free on Amazon Prime. Uh, he has been, like, he's workshopping a sequel to it, still starring Daniel Craig, just in a different murder mystery environment for like a couple years now. And apparently they also struck a deal with Netflix to exclusively make Knives Out sequels for Netflix. So cool,
But
I
it's
guess.
not. But it's not even on Netflix now.
I know. I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if I don't know, I don't remember what studio made it before. Let me look at that real quick. I think it actually might have been Lionsgate. Now I'm thinking about it.
I mean, it fits that vibe.
Hang on just one second, because it did pretty well at the box office. Yeah, on a $40 million budget, it made over almost 200. So like that. Hang on. T Street Productions. Who are these guys? Huh. Okay, so they seem to be just their own thing. That doesn't seem to be like owned by anybody. They just made it. Okay. As I can tell. Okay. So unless that's wrong, it seems like it was just this little movie studio just made Knives Out. And I guess for the sequels, they needed someone to help fit the bill. So if Netflix was there, it's one of those situations where I hope, like, even though it is a Netflix production, I hope it still does come to theaters, because I would have loved to see Knives Out in theaters. It just feels like it is the kind of movie that needs to be in a dark, just cozy environment. Like, it's not like scary or anything, but just the vibes of being in the theater, I think, would have really enhanced it even further. Whereas just watching it on Netflix, so convenient. I think watching it in a theater is like where this kind of movie really shines.
Yeah. It gives it more. It has more effect that way too, and that's the big thing. It's like, yeah, the movie effects way bigger.
Yeah. Plus, if it just comes to Netflix day of, it could be the thing where, like, it gets spoiled immediately. Like, I know, so because if it in theaters, you have to sit in the theater for at least 2.5 hours and then start tweeting about it, assuming assuming you're not a jerk and are not live tweeting while a movie is happening.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna do that, at least be in Twitter dark mode. Don't have your
You have to. Yeah, you can't. Everything gets spoiled nowadays. It's just
like, I said, which is why I'm staying off Twitter today, so I don't get spoiled about Falcon Winter Soldier.
Smart choice.
So yeah, sequels to that movie being reconfirmed, great. Will at least, even if it's not in theaters, it will at least be viewable on Netflix. So that's great.
I'll take it.
Yeah. A little update on that Powerpuff Girls reboot. Apparently, Tom Kenny will be returning as the narrator. So
okay, that's kind of good. I mean, I love Tom Kenny, but I mean, I don't think that's gonna save it.
It's one of those things that reboots constantly do where they change up everything about this franchise, but then keep little aesthetic bits to be like, do you remember this? This is from your childhood, right? It's the same. Like,
Right?
just
Yeah, they
because
try to put
Optimus
little
Prime sounds like Peter Cullen doesn't mean this is Transformers. Like, just because certain things, you got the Transformers, transforming sound correct, doesn't make this Transformers. Like,
yeah, and it's kind of like, oh, all right, like, you want a cookie for that one thing,
Yeah.
even though everything else is, it's like, and it feels like it's like they know, it's like they're like putting some back because they know they're changing so much. Like, okay, so let's do this because we're doing all this completely new, and it's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
you might as well just rerun it.
yeah, like sticking with the Transformers example, it made sense in the Bumblebee movie to have Peter Cullen voice that Optimus Prime because those Transformers actually looked like their Generation 1 counterparts in real life. Uh, Similar to the Detective Pikachu movie, where they tried to like actually be faithful to the source material, so sound effects and other hints and nods to the source material made sense there. Whereas here, when it's set so far in the future and these characters are not going to be the same, the world is just not going to be the same, everything is going to be different, except Tom Kenny is still going to be the voice, maybe even still the mayor. I don't know, like, why?
Yeah, it's gonna be like the thing with like, oh, you can't see her face, the lady's face, or it's like little stuff like that they'll keep, but then like the entire show is totally different that no one asked for. But here we are anyway, because that's how it is. I don't know.
That's funny. Time out on that for just a second. I just got my phone sometimes sends me like news announcements that it thinks I would find relevant. Half the time I don't. Like sometimes it's like nerdy stuff. Sometimes it's like some like politics thing I already found out on Twitter 2 minutes ago. We were just talking about Jeff Bezos, and then it just recommended me a news article about Jeff Bezos. Stop it.
They can hear they know.
Anyway, not creepy. Anyway.
So creepy.
Yeah. Do I have faith in the Powerpuff Girls movie? Sorry, Powerpuff Girls reboot on the CW being good? No.
No.
Does Tom Kenny being in it make me any more excited? It does not.
No chance. And I mean it. No. Love Tom Kenny, but in a very limited role in a movie, in a show that doesn't need to be made. I don't think it's gonna save it.
Yeah. Moving on from that, it has been reconfirmed that E3 is happening this year, officially in a completely digital format.
Oh,
yay.
Okay, good. It's better than nothing.
Yes.
Better than nothing for sure. E3, and again, it's E3. We get our stuff. We want our games. Like, that's what we need.
Yeah, like I think last year people generally handled there being no E3 as well as they could have. Like obviously COVID slowed down production, it slowed down just how they changed how they could present stuff. So you had Sony, Microsoft, EA, Ubisoft, all these other companies kind of periodically throughout the summer making major announcements, to the point where by August, even I, who wasn't like following it closely, was a little exhausted, let alone knowing major news outlets and major video game reviewers and stuff just kind of being overwhelmed just throughout the summer, as opposed to E3 where it's like focusing on just like 3 days. There's 3 days in June. We all kill ourselves for these 3 days to get all the news out there. Then we can nap for a month and then play all these games in August. Like that just feels better than there's something in the middle of June and then late June and then 3 things in July and then like kind of throughout there's all these other like smaller announcements. it definitely
Mm-hmm.
feels, it was, I think, the right play, at least to experiment with that kind of format. But I think having it all under one banner of E3 for just that 1 week works and makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. And also just so yeah, it's more organized, it's more, put together. And it's our time, it's video game palooza basically,
Mhm.
more or less. So like it's our time to just
Yep. Which also,
enjoy
I
it. But
think that
yeah,
that also
I think it's gonna be good. And I think
that also kind of helps with like the smaller announcements that happened throughout the year last year kind of lost their emphasis when they're not tied to these bigger announcements. Like something that's just cool about E3 is that like everything is talked about. Even like there's there are these smaller announcements kind of thrown out in these press conferences, but you stick around for them all because you know there's going to be something big at the end of the press conference. So you at least see and find out about these smaller games. Whereas if they just have like, The Last of Us Part 2 presentation and that's it, there's not going to be any room for these other announcements to keep you going, or something you might find interesting that aren't these big AAA games. So
mm-hmm.
everything just kind of gets more of a spotlight. And I think, I think that just kind of works better for the gaming industry as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's better for gaming. And it's also just like yeah, it's just better for just organizing in general. So I think it works out perfectly.
Yeah, that kind of thing I just mentioned can backfire a little bit. Like I know in every single Nintendo Direct, uh, there's like 3 major announcements and then like a couple of updates on games and then like new smaller games sprinkled throughout. But because Nintendo fans are so finicky and so fickle, they're like any game that's not Zelda or like F-Zero or some other game that they assume has to be there or it's a bad direct. Like every game that's not that sucks. Even when like it's a major Nintendo franchise that does get rebooted or does get a sequel, it's like this isn't the game that I wanted, so this direct sucked. Like that,
Like that
that
is not
yeah.
how that.
but you at least
that
had some exposure to these smaller
can't please
games, so
people.
you know that they exist. But yeah. uh, Last little bit of news that I have is that apparently NVIDIA is planning on stopping the production of the Tegra X1 chip by the end of the year. Now, this might not sound relevant to you. However, the Nintendo Switch uses the Tegra X1 chip in every single system sold, which implies that by the end of this year, or at least early next year, Nintendo is going to have to find some other way, some other, chip, probably presumably from Nintendo to power their Switches. But if you got a new chip, some other things in the system would have to change, which many people are speculating because of this, a Nintendo Switch Pro is on the horizon, which isn't saying much considering they've been predicting a Nintendo Switch Pro since 2018. But this is the first actual evidence of Nintendo Switch Pro is probably happening soon. Yeah, which I think is pretty exciting. Like me and my brother both have close to launch Switches. They're getting a little worse for wear. Like we still love them, but especially his is getting just the Joy Cons are starting to not feel great. The screen's getting a little scratched. Like it's just we could use an upgrade. And also with the new consoles out now, them and all their 4K bliss, they there's no Switch games. Those still look good, still look stylized and great. Could look better, especially with Breath of the Wild 2 coming out soon, presumably. It would be nice if that could utilize the new hardware along with Pokemon Legends Arceus. Like that could look fantastic in 4K if possible. Past games that came out like Monster Hunter Rise, Xenoblade, etc., could also use an upgrade to like it would just be an all around good idea for them to make a Switch Pro. I don't think it would be like a next gen Switch, but like kind of like this, PS4 Pro or the Xbox Series X, not the Xbox One X. Microsoft. Anyway, Xbox One X, which is just like like a mid-gen refresh.
Mhm.
I think that's something Nintendo really needs to. I don't think is necessarily right now something they need to do, but within a year from now needs to happen.
Bring it back up. Let's upgrade it because again, if it's not broke, but yeah, like you said, you just need to upgrade. So it's like
exactly like if my brother's Switch breaks tomorrow, like it would be a little disappointing if we got a brand new current Switch, but then 3 months from now be like at E3 or something like, oh, Switch Pro is announced, which that right there kind of makes me question, because the Nintendo Switch is selling bonkers. Like all three systems are selling fantastic. Every single system from all three major companies are selling instantly as soon as they hit the shelf. And Switch has been the leading system in all territories it's sold in every single month for 27 months in a row. So like Switch isn't hurting right now sales wise. It would be a little interesting for them to like wait until early next year to announce the Switch Pro and then release it by like in March or something, when all these people buy it for Christmas and be like, oh, we just got a Switch, but now this new one comes out. I feel cheated. But like there'd be no good time to announce it since it's constantly selling well. So like those
right.
Yeah.
It's better sooner than later, I guess.
Yeah. Especially if they do kind of like group it with Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out day and date with it next March, for example, like that. I think that would be enough for even people who just got a Switch to trade in, get a new one. Yeah, I find that pretty exciting. Like honestly, like Nintendo's 2021, I think has potential to be very, very exciting. Obviously, Diamond and Pearl remakes are coming out this year, a new Mario Golf, Skyward Sword remake, and then there's nothing in between July and November right now. So some goodies could come in there at some point. So just
it's wide open.
Yeah.
It's free real estate.
And as of right now, kind of interesting. I don't really think there are many Xbox or PlayStation titles on the horizon aside from like Ratchet and Clank this July, I think. Do you know when that's coming out?
Yeah, I think that is July or like sometime this summer, but like
Horizon 2 is also on PS4. Halo Infinite's also on Xbox One. So yeah, like this E3, which actually Sony's not technically going to be at E3, but I'm sure they're going to do their own thing. This E3 is gearing up to be either a major disappointment or a major win from all parties.
Yeah, we'll have to see, but yeah, I'm hoping it's a win just because it's kind of been a while. Because just with like COVID and everything, having a video game win would just be nice. But yeah, there's not a ton I think that's happening. So
yeah. But what's interesting is that even though there haven't been that many major huge announcements coming out, pretty much every single game that had come out last year was a huge success, because everyone was locked in. Like even like aside from that Avengers game, which like apparently has gotten a little better over time, it still hasn't done as well as Square Enix thought it would. Other than that, everything else generally seemed to be doing pretty well. So people just want to play stuff, and it's carrying on into this year as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's everything I have on the docket. Do you have anything you want to bring up or discuss?
There's one thing. They're redoing the Ninja Turtles like arcade game. Yes. They're like porting that. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, yes.
TMNT Shredder's Revenge. That's
yes. Good. Yeah. I mean, if you ever been to an arcade, you have played this game at least once. Like, shell shock. Like, you know how it goes. Like, Yeah,
Yep.
so I'm hoping, they're bringing. I know it's coming to Switch. It's coming to console, but like, and I'm like, other consoles
Yeah,
help me
so the
out.
reason it just says console is because it was originally only announced for PC, I think, but
Hmm.
then it was announced for console during a Nintendo Indie Direct. So they're not going to advertise it for
Right.
Xbox and PlayStation, but in the commercial, obviously they had the Switch logos, but also it just says for console. So right now
Right.
it's a Switch exclusive, and then it'll come to other systems either later or might be day and date. But right now it's just a Switch game, but that's still good, still
Yeah.
very very good.
Yeah. It comes on PS4. Definitely getting it for sure.
Yeah,
Like,
and like the original was on the SNES. I don't think it was on any other system back then. So like having that close tie to Nintendo makes sense that they would partner with Nintendo to release it at least first on Nintendo. So yeah,
yeah.
that's great. Like it's a great
That's
name
great.
for
Yeah.
that game.
And,
But yeah,
yeah. We
just
were talking about a couple weeks ago, like, there's no local multiplayer anymore. It's like, this is like the most local multiplayer game.
yep. Yeah,
Oh.
beat 'em ups have been kind of like slowly getting a resurgence recently because Streets of Rage 4
Hmm.
recently came out, which the same guys who made that, which it basically is just like a beat 'em up right out of the 90s, just on modern day graphics. Same guys who made that are making the Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Scott Pilgrim versus the World also got reported to everything. Like it just,
Yep.
yeah, like beat 'em ups are looking pretty good. Like it's a pretty like I think it's a pretty underutilized form of like game now because everything needs to be open world, online, MMO, multiplayer, etc.
Right.
Like stop using buzzwords, expensive buzzwords. Just make a small, stylized, side-scrolling beat 'em up where you can just have fun with friends. That's all I need.
Yeah. That's all we need.
Mhm.
Yeah, just something. Yeah, it doesn't have it looks good. As long as the fighting is adequate, like, I'm for it. Like, yeah, and I
Yeah.
think it's gonna be really good. I'm excited.
Hmm. Although something kind of funny about that Nintendo Direct was that um, for 4 years now, have you played Hollow Knight or know anything about Hollow Knight?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, Hollow Knight, I believe, came out in 2017, either late 2017, early 2018, and it's a uh, it's like a Metroidvania side-scrolling just adventure game. I think it's roguelike too, or like if you lose, you go back and lose some of your stuff, etc.
Okay.
And it's like one of the best in the genre. Like it's an indie game, but it's one of the best in the genre. And since very shortly after it came out, because it was such a success, they said that they were going to make an expansion to it called Hollow Knight Silk Song, which I think is based around this other character that was a major character in the game. Then they're getting their own, like they're like an NPC or maybe a character you fight. I'm not sure, but then they're getting their own like spin-off mode. Then they're like, oh, this is getting so big, we're going to make it its own game. That was announced 3 years ago. Every single Nintendo Direct, Sony thing, indie thing, just any kind of presentation of any kind, everybody is like, Silk Song is going to be announced now, right? Silk Song is going to be re-announced now. They said uh in the in this like gaming magazine last October that is going to come out in 2021. It's like, okay, so that they didn't show any gameplay. They didn't like, it wasn't like a trailer or anything with it. They just said it's still in the development. It's coming out next year. And it's April and we haven't heard anything about it.
Come on, come on. I mean, that could, see, that's one of the things that if it happens, that could go E3 could be pretty epic, or this could be,
Yeah,
like,
at this point, that's the kind of announcement that could warrant like a major announcement in a traditional direct. It doesn't even have to be an indie thing. Just like it's clearly not ready to be shown yet. It's either not ready to be shown yet, or they're waiting for it to be a major announcement in like a like big time event like that. So
mhm,
if they have that much confidence in it, then yes, like
go for it.
go for it. Uh, but the other stuff that was announced in that indie direct like was also very exciting. So it's not like we're hurting for games right now. but it's just this one game that we know about for 3 years, which actually Nintendo isn't really a stranger to that concept because we still don't have anything about Metroid Prime 4 or Bayonetta 3, so you know what, or Breath of the Wild. Like it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like
It's the
Bayonetta
trend because they know the fans are still going to be there later. So it's like,
yeah, but Bayonetta 3 was announced Game Awards 2017. Metroid Prime 4 was announced E3 2017. And then it got rebooted in 2019. And then still nothing since. Breath of the Wild was announced 2019. Like it just 4 years, nothing. Okay, whatever.
What can you do?
The last major Nintendo Direct, the director of Zelda came out on the video and was like, I'm sure you're all looking forward to updates on the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Well, sorry, we can't do anything yet, but here's Skyward Sword. It's like, don't even bring it up. Don't even say those words to me, man.
How dare you? You know what I want. Why would you say that?
I appreciate you acknowledging it exists, I guess, but only acknowledge it when you have something to show me, like a screenshot or something.
That's so evil. Like, why would you even bring?
Like, I appreciate you bringing Skyward Sword to the system.
Up,
I can actually play it with button controls. Like, come on. Whatever.
That's so messed up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Ninja Turtles game. Like like I said, I've gotten more into beat 'em ups recently. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, they're coming back. I'm kind of happy they are.
Yeah. Got anything else you want to bring up or discuss?
That's what I've got.
Okay. So with that, we'll see you all next time.
Take care, everybody.